Well, you see, I see it in very much more simple terms. I think, and I think what we tend to do is complicate things and make them sound complex when it's actually very simple. For instance, people say you must seek enlightenment. No, we mustn't. In the act of seeking, we're always seeking and we're never finding. We need to realize that we are already enlightened because we are already a point of attention within infinite everything. And we can be a point of attention that says, I am Mrs. Smith who works on the checkout in the supermarket, and that's all I am. Or we can be a point of attention that says, I'm all that is, has been, and ever can be. And the difference in the experiences and the ability to make a difference between those two perceptions, that's all they are. That doesn't mean the person who says I am and knows that they are all that is, has been, ever can be is more special or better than Mrs. Smith who says I'm just working on the checkout, that's all I am. It's just because both are an expression of the same infinite awareness. It's about the perception and therefore the amount of that infinite awareness that we are accessing. And what this whole conspiracy is about in its foundation form is so imprisoning people with a fake self-identity, what I call phantom self, the labels that we're given and we self-identify with, to deluge us with those labels. And of course, if you look at this whole transgender, different sexuality arena that's exploded, what is that doing? What is that doing? It is again taking us, or taking those that fall for it, even deeper into the minutiae of self-identity. Self-identity and the perception of it is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So now you have this long list of letters getting longer and longer to identify who you are. It's a nonsense. If you're having an experience, infinite awareness having an experience, and the experience is that you feel you're in the wrong body, well, that's fine. That is the way things are, and you should be respected for that and supported in that and all the rest of it, and certainly not discriminated against. But that's different from this increasingly myopic perception of self-identity. And the smaller our perception, the more detailed this phantom self-perception becomes. So the letters in the word get long, in the term get longer and longer. The letters, the more we are distancing ourselves and withdrawing ourselves from that level of self that is the true self in awareness of itself, which is simply consciousness. This is the nonsense of race and all these labels that people have. They are experiences. Sexuality, man, woman, they are experiences. They are not the ultimate nature of the I. And so if you say to someone, who are you? And they say, I am whatever the job is, I am whatever the sex is, I am whatever the race is, then you've got someone who is, and most people do this, of course, because of the nature of the programming, they are self-identifying not with the self, but with the illusion of self, the phantom self. And it's only phantom self-perception that can be manipulated en masse by a few people. Because you look at one level of this, once you've got phantom self-perceptions of self-identity, you have an endless possibility for divide and rule. by playing off these different labels against each other. And as we've gone deeper and deeper into this minutiae of alleged self-identity, we have situations now, a few weeks ago in Britain, where a feminist and a transgender activist were having a fight in the street. This is when we are being pulled out even more in even more detail out of the nature and perception of the true self. Now, this is not done by accident. It's done because something you mentioned a few minutes ago, this hidden hand that I have been exposing now for decades and decades is terrified of people remembering the true nature of self, because the game's up then. It can only manipulate people in phantom self mode. Because people in phantom self mode see dots, they don't see pictures. They see strands, they don't see tapestries. And when you expand your awareness out of phantom self and you reassess your self-identity, because you're accessing a wider and wider spectrum, if you like, of this awareness that we all are, you now start to see the picture. You see how the dots and the strands connect into something else. You stop seeing pixels, you start seeing pictures. And people in that mode who then try to explain how the world is operating by seeing those connections, to someone who sees only dots, those people are crazy. Because if you're only seeing dots and not pictures, how can you understand someone describing a picture to you that you cannot see? But what is happening, and more of this information has got out over the last 10, 20 years, is people are now beginning to see, not least because events are unfolding as they were predicted to unfold, that actually the world is not like they thought it was, and so we're making progress, very big progress around the world in the sense of people are now starting to see the pictures and not just the pixels. But the key to the whole conspiracy of human control is to hold people in a perceptual servitude of the world, but crucial, the bottom line of all of it, to hold them in a perceptual servitude of their own self-identity. Because once you start to self-identify with being awareness, having the experience, now the experience is losing its power over you. And another thing disappears as you start to reassess your self-identity. Fear. Fear is what is fear? If you think about it, it's fear of consequences. And what are consequences? They are experiences. So what we're looking at is fear of experiences. And the reason that people fear experiences is because they think the experience is who they are. It's not. It's just something that their true self is experiencing. And you know, that is the crucial transformation from I am little me, phantom self, the labels, to I am infinite awareness, having an experience with what are termed those labels. And you start to live life instead of life living you, which phantom self doesn't live life, life lives it. You start to live your life, you start to take control of your life when you start to realize the nature of who we really are.